He argued cases before the highest court in the United States. He helped shape American law for decades. He co-founded one of the most respected legal websites in the world. And, in secret, he was sitting across a poker table from billionaires, winning tens of millions of dollars in cash, and hiding every single dollar from the government. This is a true story, and it will change how you think about money and the law. Thomas Goldstein was not a normal lawyer. He argued over 40 cases before the United States Supreme Court, something that fewer than 100 attorneys in American history have ever done. He co-founded SCOTUS Blog, a website so essential that judges, journalists, and law professors read it every single day. From the outside, Goldstein had everything: a respected career, a powerful reputation, a life built on the law. His wife, Amy Howe, worked alongside him. She helped build SCOTUS Blog from the ground up. She trusted him completely. But Thomas Goldstein had a second life, one that she and almost everyone else knew nothing about. It started quietly. Sometime around 2016, Goldstein began playing high-stakes poker. Not the kind you play with friends on a Friday night. The kind where a single hand could win or lose millions of dollars. He was good, very good. His first major target was a gambler known only as Tango. When the cards were counted, Goldstein had won $13.3 million. Then came a man known as Chairman. Another game, another win. This time, $9.9 million. But the biggest prize was yet to come. Goldstein sat down across from Alec Gores, an American billionaire worth over $4 billion. When that game ended, Goldstein walked away with $26.4 million. In 1 year, he had won roughly $50 million at the poker table. And he told the IRS absolutely nothing. But it didn't stop there. Between 2022 and his retirement in 2023, Goldstein played a series of matches against Andy Beal, a billionaire Texas banker known as one of the most dangerous poker players on the planet. Goldstein won over $50 million from Beal alone. By his own admission to the New York Times Magazine, Goldstein won more than $88 million in total poker winnings. $88 million. And across years of tax returns, almost none of it appeared. Now here is where it gets truly extraordinary. To hide this money, Goldstein didn't just leave numbers off a form. He built an entire system of deception. He diverted legal fees from his own law firm into personal accounts to pay off poker debts, then falsified the firm's books to make those payments look like legitimate business expenses. When he owed money to other gamblers, he arranged for third parties to pay them directly so the money would never appear in his personal transactions. In October 2018, he flew back to the United States from Hong Kong, and carrying nearly $1 million in cash inside a duffel bag. When a customs officer asked what the money was, he said, "Gambling winnings," but he never reported a dollar of it on his taxes. 2 years later, when IRS agents asked him about that same cash, he told them it was a loan, and he could not produce a single document to prove it. While all of this was happening, Goldstein was also moving millions through cryptocurrency, making over $10 million in crypto transactions, on the tax forms that specifically asked whether he had engaged in virtual currency activity. He checked no. So how did the IRS finally catch him? Not from an audit, not from suspicious bank records, but from another gambler. One of Goldstein's poker opponents, feeling cheated, contacted the IRS and told them about a debt Goldstein owed from a 2016 game. That single tip unraveled everything. As investigators dug deeper, they found something else, something that shocked even the prosecutors. Goldstein had been using his law firm to secretly pay salaries and provide health insurance to at least 4 women he had met on a sugar daddy dating website. These were women he was pursuing or having romantic relationships with. They were listed as employees of the firm. In many cases, they performed little or no actual work. His wife, his partner of decades, the woman who built SCOTUS Blog, alongside him, had no idea. When Goldstein finally spoke publicly about his case, He told journalist Jeffrey Toobin in the New York Times Magazine, "I just had this entirely separate life." His wife didn't know about the gambling. She didn't know about the women. She didn't know about the millions. For years, one of the most powerful legal minds in America had been living two completely separate lives. And the law he had dedicated his career to was the very thing that brought it all down. There is one moment in the evidence that stands out above everything else. In a private message to a representative of one of his creditors, Goldstein wrote, and these are his own words,
"I was going to use that money to pay my personal 2016 taxes, but I'm just paying penalties instead. That's fine. It's my problem."
He knew. He always knew. He just didn't care. On February 25, 2026, a federal jury convicted Thomas Goldstein of tax evasion, filing false tax returns, and mortgage fraud. He had submitted false mortgage applications in 2021 to purchase a $2.6 million home in Washington, D.C., omitting over $14 million in debts from the application. His false statements secured him a $1.98 million loan. He now faces up to 5 years in prison for tax evasion alone. But here is what this story really tells us. Thomas Goldstein was not stupid. He was arguably one of the most legally sophisticated people in America. He knew exactly what the law required. He knew exactly what he was doing. And he did it anyway, because people who accumulate extraordinary amounts of money often begin to believe the rules were never meant for them. They believe their intelligence protects them. They believe their status protects them. They believe that as long as the system cannot see them, they are untouchable. What brought Goldstein down was not the IRS. It was not a sophisticated investigation. It was one person he wronged who made one phone call. The system doesn't need to be watching you every second. It only needs one person to talk.
Every week on this channel, we expose the real stories behind wealth, power, and the systems most people never see. If this story made you think, subscribe, because the next case we're covering is even more unbelievable than this one.